ladies and gentlemen, Alise Lucas is about to come on in just a few minutes here, and she's going to bring some wisdom. She's a marketing and advertising genius, talking about brands, talking about all kinds of cool stuff. So make sure you stay tuned because she has a huge heart. She's led by God, and we're going to dive even more into her journey and her story. Before that, let's talk about the sponsor message. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a high achiever, you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lost, not connected to your purpose, your greatness, your greatest possible self, then the 21-day challenge is here to reignite you and your self-belief so you can succeed like never before. If you want that daily support, daily accountability for 21 days, send me a message. Let me know, Chris, I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to break through into my GPS. I'm interested in the 21-day challenge, and I will let you know more details about it. That's the 21-day challenge. I look forward to talking to you about your next big breakthrough. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week, it's by Lauren Mushu, and Lauren says, great work. I'm so impressed. I've yet to listen to all the episodes, but this podcast is gold. Practical, relatable, inspiring, and uplifting. Chris is super committed to his craft. His energy is off the charts, wonderful, and he's truly magnetic. Highly recommend. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate you. And if you're listening or watching right now, please go to beyourgps.com/iTunes. Give us a rating, review, and subscribe. Let other people know about all the greatness that we're doing here. Let us know what you love. Let us know what can be improved and how we can continue to grow together and serve you the best quality content. Thanks so much in advance for doing that. I love you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, I'm going to bring on Kara in just a few minutes here. Again, make sure you have a pen and a paper ready to take notes because she is going to bring some heat. It's going to be an inspirational, moving, full of wisdom and valuable tips, executable content and ideas, and it's going to really move you in the right direction. So we're going to introduce her, and then we'll bring her on. Alise Lucas is the author of Love Your Heart Out, which is about life making sense backwards. It is a story of faith and freedom, and she believes when things feel like they're falling apart, they are in fact falling together. And Kara says we can always trace God's hand through the details of our life. She created her personal brand and business over 10 years ago called K.L.M.C. Agency, which included being a part of the founding team and startup of Lululemon Athletica, and Kara helped take the organization from private to public at an incredibly young age, and the lessons of her choices and at an incredibly young age, and the lessons of her choices and the ability to choose and create meaning for her highest good was applied during this season of her life. Lululemon has been one of her greatest career foundation achievements, aside from her faith and belief in Jesus. Kara consulted for Nordstrom and ultimately played a key role in the future of these global organizations' history and legacy. Kara also went on to lead in various business development and consulting roles in the healthcare industry. She is with us now to share her love, light, and to inspire one heart at a time through her faith foundation, personal testimony, and her most current and recent organizational developments as a highly sought after and skilled millennial female entrepreneur. And we're blessed to have her here with us today. Kara, are you ready to rock the house, superstar?
I am ready, Chris.
Boom! We're now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, superstar. Thank you for being here, Kara. You know I love you. I appreciate you. You're doing amazing things in the world. I love growing together, and I really appreciate you being here to share about your journey and your own testimony and what you're creating today because it's inspiring. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chris. I love you as well, and I love your energy. You're so positive, such a positive influence. And it's just been a great experience having you a part of my world now, and Petsia and all that you guys are doing and creating. It's a true joy and honor and privilege. And thank you so much for inviting me to be on your 12-hour marathon today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. We're just getting this party started, girl. So
That's
we
right.
are going to dive into the theme of the day, which is what turns you on? So, Kara, how does this question of what turns you on, how has that played a role in your life, and what turns you on?
So I'm going to get a little creative here since that's one of my passions and my natural talents.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be silent here for a second. I'm going to show you here in the space that I'm at. Okay, so just take note of what I point out on camera. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's birds chirping. That's a coffee house here. I'm here at a church in my hometown that I grew up in in Corona, California. This is Crossroads Community Church. There's a cross up there, palm trees. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Outside in fresh air. Wow. And just the colors. I mean, look at the way that the colors hit the palm tree. The way that the sun, or the way that the sun brings out the colors.
Yeah.
So with that shown and said, what really ignites me, it's color. Living in color in all aspects. Emotionally, physically, mentally, and really allowing my uniqueness to shine through and becoming more of an expert at myself. Therefore, that way I can bless others. So learning to really pour out my heart from a full cup and just allow the overflow to go throughout the earth.
Yeah, so beautiful. I love it. I love how you showed us your environment and gave us a expression. You know, you're a true artist and creative because of like how you paint pictures, paint visions in people's minds. You know, we've had the pleasure of working together in our mastermind, and just how you communicate and paint those pictures, it's super inspiring, and I love it. So it's really beautiful. And Kara, I mentioned a lot in your intro. It's incredible what you've already done, and I want you to say in your own words what you stand for. We know pouring into people's lives, you know, really giving and being that service provider. And in your own words, tell us about what you stand for.
Well, thank you, Chris, so much. It's very kind. So, yeah, I would definitely consider myself an artist. I think that we all are artists. I touch on that idea in my book. So what I stand for, it's in the title of my book for sure, which that being love your heart out. And so love, I believe in Jesus Christ, and his strongest message and teaching was to love. He said that the greatest of these is love, out of all the commandments, out of everything. So then that leads me to ask myself and those that are a part of my journey, because I believe we're created for relationship, in all aspects, business, personal, health, family, friendships, all of the ships. And so what I stand for is representing love to the best of my ability. Some days, some moments I'm better at it than others. But the whole idea is that even when you feel like you have fell down, that you are continuously getting back up and being a representation of love and light. And so, yeah, my whole message and what I stand for is, again, in the title of my book, loving my heart out. So then that way others are being able to connect to their greatest self, and to also exude love and represent love, and representing what Jesus Christ represented and stood for, essentially. So that's my mission and my message. And I feel, like I said, there's many times where I maybe am not the best at it, but it's the idea that I still desire to become better.
Yeah, and I think that's with anyone who sees a value that they want to be a champion for in the world, or a belief, or, you know, a vision, a philosophy, a religion, a spiritual practice, whatever, right? Like anything that we want to see in the world, we have to be a living example of it, a role model of it. Because that's what people follow. They follow someone who does what they say, right? And they're in integrity. Their actions are in integrity with their words and their thoughts. And I think there's a lot of people out there who talk a big game, but they don't necessarily follow through. Now, that's different from someone who says, I'm going to be my best self today, and you get knocked down. and you make some mistakes and you cut some corners. If you do that and you know, like, that didn't feel good, I didn't like that, I'm going to do something different next time. I'm going to learn from this lesson. I'm going to grow and evolve and become better, do better next time. Then that's really the journey, you know? And I want to talk about your journey, Kara, because that's an important part of our audience getting connected with you, to get to know you. And also I wanted to shout out our mutual college in common, Cal Poly Pomona, because Kara's in Corona, California. I grew up in Chino, California, which are probably about 15 minutes away from each other, you know, super, super close. And then our school that we went to, Cal Poly Pomona, is about 15 minutes away from me, probably about 30, 40 minutes away from Corona, depending on traffic and all that good stuff. But yeah, so we went to the same college, and I want to hear more about your journey, and, you know, what were some of those wisdom points, the growth points, where you discovered who you are, what you're here for, all that good stuff. Really take us back to where it began, Kara.
Fun. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to share my story. And yes, huge shout out to CPP.
Yo, yo, yo!
Yes.
Broncos!
Yes, Broncos, you know. It's the school. It was the school that I did not want to attend.
Right? I was like, Cal Poly, there's nothing sexy about that. I want to go to, like, UC Santa Barbara or something. Come on.
Yeah, it was, I actually was an avid in high school.
Yeah.
So if we're going back to the hometown,
yeah.
I had, I want to almost say a career in dance and as a cheerleader. Wow. So I was heavily involved in dance and in cheer in my community prior to attending college. And I had decided that, wait, is that a hair? Oh, that's a spider web. Sweet. So I had decided that I wanted to attend fashion school. So I actually went to FIDM. Are you familiar with FIDM?
Yep, Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandise, I believe.
Oh, yeah, Chris, you know your stuff. That's awesome. So I decided to attend private fashion school. And I thought that I wanted to be a buyer at the corporate level for like Nordstrom, and that I would just go travel to Paris and all of the great places in the world and just pick the latest fashion and trends and kind of just call the shots for the fashion.
Yeah.
That was my idea. And so I attended FIDM and specialized and studied merchandise and marketing. And that's where I really honed in on the fact of my love for branding and for marketing and strategy. And especially my last year at FIDM, I had an entrepreneurship class. And in that class, I had the opportunity and privilege to write a business plan, which my professor made it clear that she would not be returning the business plans. And she bragged about this business out of her garage and how she was very, very wealthy and well off. And, you know, I don't know for a fact, but I think she might have been selling those business plans because my idea came to life. And so that idea was called Me Pizza. And that's what you'll see the modern day pizza kitchen. So any of Blaze Pizza, any of these pizzas that are like a Chipotle style kitchen, that was what my business plan was on.
Wow.
And so I was ahead of the curve then, and that is just a natural talent of mine. And so after graduating from FIDM, I knew that I wanted to earn my bachelor's, and even though FIDM does offer bachelor's degree and master's programs, I knew that I wanted it from a university. Plus, my dad, huge shout out to anyone listening in that is current or former military. My dad was served in the Air Force, and so I was fortunate enough to be a part of receiving the GI Bill. I was probably part of the last of that grant and ability. So most of my education was paid for, thankfully, by my father, my private education. I still have a little debt on that, but but my dad did put most of that bill. So I'd like to just give a shout out to him if he listens in to this. But more or less to our military and to that opportunity that because of my dad's service, I pretty much got to attend Cal Poly Pomona at no cost besides taxes and books.
That's amazing.
And, yeah. And so to really dive into more of my personal journey and testimony. And I speak about what a testimony is in my book. So what I love is the study of words. I fell in love with the study of words also in college at Cal Poly. I took a class on etymology, which is the breaking down of words.
I love it. I love it. You can understand like how to construct words and like what they mean when you know the pieces of them, and you know like the roots of those. And then you also learn how the roots can be programming your mind, and you like don't like people don't even know like these roots what they mean. And it's like, wow, you know, you're programming your mind with these words, like for example the word morning, right? MONRING. Like what is that? Like if you use that word, you think of good morning, right? And oftentimes, like this is getting into kind of, you know, society and how we don't really know a lot of the things that we're being programmed to do. But the word mourning, think about when you're mourning someone's death. Right? If you think about that kind of a morning, if you say good morning, every day people are saying good morning. They don't recognize that they're also programming themselves with the other definition of the word. And it's like, it's incredible because it's like different words, they might sound the same, but there's different meanings and different piecing it together. Anyways, I didn't want to bring like a bunch of like down energy, but it's incredible when you look at words, how powerful they are, because they're like literally creating our reality. There's vibration, there's energy behind our words. So keep going, Kara. I love this. This is awesome.
Thank you. I fully agree. And you are never a downer, and you never bring down energy. And I think what you do and that you're great at is that you're a light worker, and you bring light and acknowledgement to truth in society, which again is something I also stand for, like yourself. And so when it comes to the breaking down of words, you're right, Chris. Like I do go back. I go back to the Bible often in my life, and I realize that it's true. It never returns void, and actually it's scriptural. It comes from scripture. It says that our words can bring life or death.
Yep.
And so it's true. Like what we say about ourselves, about others, that's all is creating our reality. And we're either essentially choosing to speak love and truth into someone, into our own life or someone else's life, or to bring a little death, like you said in the word morning, for instance. So I like that. Good day. Like I think of in Australia, I think that's what they say is, you know, good day, mate. Like it's a good day. It's a great day to be alive. So thank you for bringing that up. And I had originally, we were talking about the word testimony. And so the word test, and then so test of self, and then moni, like a ceremony, a wedding ceremony, a party. So it's a party of yourself and your journey in that word. And so some of my testimony, you know, I'm grateful for this, but it hasn't always been like, you know, roses and sunshine and it's not always been smiles and laughter. And I am so grateful for the tears that I've shed in my life as well. And so throughout my college career, I was going through a lot of trials at home. My mom actually was diagnosed with cancer in high school for me. I think I was a junior at that time. And then her prognosis only continued to become more serious. And so not to spend too much time on that, but throughout my college career, I did lose my mom to cancer, and it opened my eyes up to so much reality. So, you know, at that time I was really on track, as you had shared, that I was part of the founding team of Lululemon, and I already brought so much to the table at such a young age as my own self, but Lululemon brought so much to me and helping me really mind map and even plan out more of what I would like my future to look like and be like. And so I bring that up because I was really on track with my financial gain. And I would say that I still am. It ended up looking a little different. So for instance, I had a Roth IRA at a young age, and my savings. And then after my mom passed, it really shifted my perspective on money and the idea of saving. So, you know, the truth is again, the Bible says and teaches that tomorrow's not promised. And like, we could even forget that the Bible says that, but it's just a fact. Like, no one can deny that, like, tomorrow is promised for any one person, or for it to look any particular one way. We can desire that, we can believe that, we can receive that and accept it, but there's always a factor involved of risk. There's risk in everything.
Yeah.
Even to quote Warren Buffett, because I just came across this quote today, he says, risk is a part of God's game, alike for men and nations. Wow. And so there's a risk when we go to bed at night that our eyes might not open up tomorrow morning.
And I'm going to pause you because I hear sirens in the background, and I love it because I use the environment and the things that are brought in, the sounds, the emotions, the quote unquote distractions that other people would call distractions. Perfect timing, perfect alignment, because it's literally saying, "Hey, people, wake up, pay attention. This is your wake up. This is your alarm. This is saying, hey, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna step over this because this is super, super important." So keep going, Kara, because I love it. I love it.
Thank you. So with knowing that tomorrow's not promised, and the context of the now, how beautiful the now is, that now is literally all we're given, which it's maybe cliche and cheesy, but that we say that's why it's called the present.
It's so true.
Right? Yeah. And so I am in love with this present moment. And what I will also say is that after my own passing, realizing that I had the choice, the power of choice, and that I could place meaning on things that maybe did or did not, or do not, or do mean one thing or the other. And so I decided to go to Europe. So I took all my money and went to Europe, and I don't regret it.
Oh my gosh, I don't think anyone regrets traveling. Like, if you go see a new place, a new experience, your soul is better off because of it. And yes, there might be some like financial consequences, but I don't think anyone would regret it if they, did it in the right spirit, because they felt good, not because someone like dragged them along and said, "You're coming." Like if you chose it, you're probably better off in all aspects because of it.
Totally agree, and it was incredible. I got to paraglide over the Swiss Alps and drink beer in Germany and see the Eiffel Tower. It sparkles at night. I didn't know that until I was there, and I was getting to eat a crepe and watch the Eiffel Tower sparkle. So anyhow, traveling is something I also stand for. I'm a huge advocate. It's one of the greatest things, one of the greatest gifts that life offers. The fact alone that planes fly, that we fly like birds, is pretty cool. And paradigm shift, like, if you can actually think it and dream it, you really can do it. Disney was right.
That's right.
And so I guess to stick on my journey here, so just realizing that it's precious. I hope that I'm fortunate enough to live close to 100 years old. I don't know that I want to live longer than that. I'm open to it, I suppose. I mean, health is always like, I think as people find their purpose, right? Like, I think what we would give for another day to keep living our purpose and serving the people who we love. I think people who retire, right? That word retire is like, what happens to... I'm retired, by the way.
Right. What happens... But what happens when you retire a calf? Like it goes... Or a cow, right? It goes out to pasture, and it's sorry, bye cow. You're going to bed. You're going to sleep permanently. People, when they retire, it shuts down the activity, the creation, the building, the life, right? Retire means to put you to sleep. So I think that I will never retire, and I will keep fighting till the day I die, because like I'm going to keep fighting to create, keep fighting to take one more breath to leave a legacy. Amen. Plus, there's so many like life extension technologies that are going on right now. It's incredible, like the medical advances and what is happening in science. So anyways, keep going. I'm loving this. And if you guys are loving this, make sure you do a thumbs up, drop a heart, let us know you're loving Kara. Type Kara's name in the comments because you're doing awesome, Kara. Keep going.
Thank you. So yeah, I had said that I am retired, and there's like, I agree with you. Like, I'll never retire either.
Right.
My work is my life, right?
Yeah.
However, I also believe in the idea of like a retirement lifestyle. I will agree in the fact that like I get to choose, like, and no matter, even if I've been an employee of an organization, like, I have always seen myself as a consultant.
Yeah, that's great.
An independent entity, because that's what we are. We all have a choice. We usually sign an employee at will agreement.
Yep.
And so I choose where I want to show up, how I want to show up.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to show up.
Yeah, and so, even if someone's an employee, you still have one client. It's called your boss. If you're an entrepreneur, you have the choice of how many clients that you have and how many people that you want to work with. And for me, Warren Buffett, who was talking about risk earlier, I would rather have multiple clients instead of only being dependent on one.
I totally agree with that. Yes, and speaking of clients, so I have been growing my portfolio, and that's been exciting. But I'll go into that in a second.
Yeah.
So just to fast forward to bring everyone more current on my journey today, I had written out a 10-year vision when I was with Lululemon, and it looked pretty dang perfect, right? And so it looked of myself writing and publishing a book, and have traveling the world, seeing like I think I might have put 30 countries. And I'm actually pretty close to that. 30 countries by 30. To, oh my gosh. I mean, there was so much entailed in this vision, and a lot of it has brought to life. Yeah. And that has been brought to life, that I brought to life. And so, with that said, okay, so I'm kind of jumping around. So I had left off at Cal Poly, and with my mom passing. And then I went into realizing that I wanted to travel, which I shared that. And then I ended up going to work for Nordstrom because that was always on my radar. And so I did do some consulting from a millennial perspective. And I also did personal styling. And I was one of the top sales performers in the entire organization. And then I was recruited to Vestar, which you're familiar with the district, the Test and Legacy, in Irvine. Or the shops in Chino Hills.
Yeah.
So these are outdoor properties that Vestar owns or did own. I don't know if they still currently do. I believe so. And so I was assistant marketing manager of about 12 different properties. I was responsible for and with my direct boss at the time, and I was able to learn more of commercial real estate and assisting clients in that way, and then went on to work in healthcare. And going back to the word testimony, so I brought that up because of my mom's passing and just different trials and tribulations that we face, and triumphs as well along in the journey. And so I ended up, after working with Vestar, realizing like I had this vision. I kept having this vision of me out in Africa. I have some friends that own an organization called Feed Africa, and so they help like different tribes that are in poverty and help them learn the skills to build their own crops and essentially tend to creating a food source for them. Right. To help build up the idea of an economy for them. And so at that time, that was becoming more prevalent in my life, and their organization was growing, and I kept just having this vision of myself out in Africa dancing with like African people and just being like out in like almost like a desert of sand and with just guys jamming to a guitar and just like being happy and free and singing and dancing. And I felt like I was being led and called to missionary work. And it was true, it was right. But actually my mission field was right here at home and in Southern California. So I went to go work for the hospice company that my mom passed away with, which was called Cornerstone Hospice at the time. And that came from the verse in Ephesians that Jesus Christ is the chief cornerstone. So it was really neat to get to work for a Christian organization that lined up with my values and beliefs, and more or less that I could actually give testimony to how they operated as an organization because I was once their customer.
Wow.
My mom was one of their patients, and so they truly treated us like family. It was an incredible experience, even in one of the most trialsome times in my personal life and my family's. And so I went into the work of hospice and was able to share the benefits with thousands of patients and families of hospice, and to pray with them and encourage them and to lift them up and to encourage them that what their life could mean and what it does mean and what it can continue to look like. The idea of an after death, like after death, the idea of life after death is what I'm trying to say. And so, yeah, and I fully believe in that, Chris. Like, the stock market, it goes like up and down, but it just keeps going up, essentially. And so does our heartbeat. Our heartbeat goes up and down, and that's just like life. And so, in death, there's always a rebirth. Just like any buildings. I mean, look at the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, for instance, and just the economies in general. Buildings come down so we can create and build new ones. And so I believe that it says, our body is the holy temple. And so this body may fall eventually, but it will rise again.
Kara, I'm so curious. We have this theme of like lightness and dark, life and death, and we just keep dancing around this whole interview. I love it. And I wanted to share with you that when was it? I think it was about a year ago, around a year and a half ago. I wanted to bask in the impermanence of life. Because I haven't lost anyone how you lost your mom, someone so close to you. That's never happened to me, someone so close. And so I was like, I feel kind of disconnected from this kind of ticking talk that is all that we all have, right? And so I said, I'm going to go to a cemetery and just like be in the presence of what is the energy there? What's the meaning of the tombstones and the celebration of people's lives that goes on there, as well as that transition of death, right? Like the gift of life as well as the gift of death. To be able to celebrate both of them is our like gift, in this lifetime, to be able to access both of them and relate to both of them, not in a fearful or disempowering way, but to recognize it as this life, it's a gift. Presence is a gift. And death is also a gift. Not to, sit on our butts forever, but actually to get up and get into action, to go create something, to go do something, because tomorrow is not promised. This next moment is not promised. So I really, really love that this has come up. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I agree. It does create a sense of urgency, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And and it also motivates. So my whole message here, you had asked, what is it that I would like to leave with the audience or to really share? And it's becoming more and more apparent as I continue to grow in my journey and to self-reflect and become even more self-aware, is that my desire is to continue to inspire one heart at a time. And so I actually looked up the definition of what does inspire mean according to Webster's dictionary, and since we've been talking about etymology and words and the power of them, so there's two different definitions here I'm going to read. So the first one is that it's to fill someone, in parentheses, with the urge or ability to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. And the second one is to breathe in, and then in parentheses is air. To inhale. Risk is a part. Oh yeah, that's what I was reading earlier. So to breathe in air, and to inhale. So that actually, what that led me to when I read that second one, and we can go back to the first one in a second, but the second one was actually very powerful to me, because in the beginning, it says that God breathes air into our lungs.
Yeah.
To create life, like from dust and then breathes in air. And so I thought that was it was inspiring.
Yeah. And also I've heard inspires to breathe life into, right? Like to breathe life into something. And I think God really breathed life into us with word, with the power, spoken power of word is like life and death. Yeah. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how did that evolve you into working with brands and this focus on marketing that you're doing today? Like you're this heart leader focusing on brands and marketing and strategy. How did that transition evolution happen?
Well, I actually this last year I've been reflecting. It's interesting. Side note here is that something that my dad has shared with me is that my sister, my personality has always been the same since we were like little kids. So this idea that we're born with our personality has really resonated with me. And so I was reminded that when I was in kindergarten, I remember there was a time where my teacher at the time, Mrs. Nagel, who was an angel, and she gave us, I think, like 15 minutes or 30 minutes of free time. Perhaps you were given that too in kindergarten.
I think so.
And and like we could it was in the classroom and we could take to whatever we wanted. And so naturally what I gravitated towards, my gravitational pull, was these creative, like they were these little, they were shapes of all different sorts and colors. And so what I did is I grabbed this and I created this extravagant pattern and was just so engrossed in it. I remember my teacher looking over me and down at me and just being like in awe and proud of my work. And I remember just feeling so proud of my work. And the funny thing is that now what I'm doing is I'm essentially still creating those patterns and still being drawn to have that creative eye. Oh, and something that's going to blow your mind is I was recently sharing what I'm currently up to and have been doing with a new friend that I had met at Barnes & Noble like a couple weeks ago. And I said to him, with a creative eye, and I went like this and pointed to my right eye, and he was like, just one eye? And then I was like, actually, yeah, like what if like this one eye is more creative than this one? And check this out, it's actually a fact, because our right brain is said to be more creative.
Yep. Left is logic, right is creative. Yep.
So like the intuition, like it's real. And so am I answering your question? You had asked about marketing and like what led me here. So I guess my answer is that what led me here is what I was born with and a natural talent of mine. And so, I've always been in the branding game and the creative game because it's a natural talent where I'm really able to put colors and patterns together. And oftentimes my friends will come to me for advice in their fashion or in their interior design. It's just a natural gift and talent and passion of mine. It's like I like the way that things look and feel, and I like to create an ambience and an environment that is inviting and warm and welcoming and positive, and that like again breathes inspiration and breathes life and love. So that just flows into any business, whether it's branding or marketing, or if I'm in a customer service role, in a sales representative position, like it's all to me a creative approach of just, again, breathing in that inspiration. So I would like to ask you a couple questions.
Bring it, Kara.
Awesome. So to inspire, so since we're talking about inspiring one other heart at a time, I would like to ask you first. So I have essentially like 2-3 questions for you. So the first question is, what does inspire look like, mean? What does it feel like? What does it comes up for you when you think of or hear or sit with the word inspire?
The very first thing I do is breathe. Right? Like that is essential. I think breath is so tied to life, right? And if we are not breathing, then we are not alive. So that's number one, is like just breathing. And I think so many people are shallow breathers. They're not in their body. They're not present. They're in fight and flight and just totally stressed out of their mind. So one of my greatest gifts...
Get out of your mind.
That's right. One of my greatest gifts has been my presence, right? Just to be with people. And that starts first with my ability to be present in myself. So that's number one. Number two, the inspiration for me comes in the storytelling, right? In the sharing of a picture, of a vision that ignites people's souls. It catches them on fire. It like just totally awakens them. That's like really why I'm here, is to awaken people to their power, to their potential, to their greatness. Aliveness is synonymous with inspiration for me. And that's my whole mission in life, is to wake people the F up. Like, there's too many people who are zombies just like floating through life, and I'm here to wake up, or right now it's to really assist the people who are already awake and already seeking the aliveness and power and growth and impact and platform to be able to, like impact the world. And as I serve those people, the kings and the queens, I'm the kingmaker and the queen maker, so to speak, then the impact will increase exponentially. So for me, that's really my vision of inspiration, and how I'm spreading it contagiously and having everyone awaken and become alive and full of love.
You're a
and
strong
possibility.
Supporter, is what I hear.
That's
You're
right.
A really strong supporter. Yeah,
that's right.
Awesome, Chris.
That's right. And
that's
supporter is a good word, and even more is like a parent, right? Like a parent, a father to people's dreams, right? Yes. When I work with my clients, I'm like their protector of their greatness, of their vision, fostering in, parenting in, and from the baby, from the little fetus of possibility into the greatest possible self. So, yeah.
I can get on that train. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. It excites me, and it does ignite me and lights me up. And it's becoming more apparent to me the importance of only working with those that are on this pathway.
Yes, 100%.
And operating from their heart and from the inspiration. It's exciting. It's not that. And I think by the more that we align with working with others that are like-minded and like-hearted, then like what happens is that like we create the ceiling or the floor, and then like everyone else just has to level up.
Right.
Because like to continue to survive in the world, an idea of competition and the competition with yourself, right? So my next question for you is, I want you to think about world matters. Okay, like large scale here. What are some things right now? Like, and I just want you to like, just like whatever comes up, like one word, like for instance, poverty, right? Okay. Like I just want you to start just saying some words that come up that you see as a huge opportunity for the world at large.
So for me, it's education and youth entrepreneurship. That's it. Like that's like I'm committed to the next generation being so freaking empowered to be visionaries, to recognize their genius, to recognize their greatness and their power, and to set them on fire so that they create a world that is freaking magic. It's like full of magic, full of laughter, full of joy, full of love, full of possibility and wonder. That's the cause that I'm standing for.
That's awesome. That's so well said. And like, do you think that, is there anything that could like stand in the way of those things happening today?
Heck yeah!
the
current system that exists. There's so many people who are committed to the current system continuing exactly the way it is. Just like, with healthcare, just like, not your healthcare, but like cancer and stuff. Just like with education, like there's so many food, there's so many powers that want those things to continue. And for the people who see a better vision, who want to like bring real relief and real possibility and real, benefit and freedom, there's always going to be the oppressor and antagonist who wants to stay in power.
Interesting. So power. So I hear like power, and is it? Do you think it's driven by money then, or is it driven more by power, or are they synonymous?
I think it's more control. And when people have, power is like, what is power really? It's control. When those people have quote unquote control, they stay safe. They are in their comfort zone of what is, and they would rather have the planet go to hell and stay safe and stay in control than actually leave a beneficial legacy.
Yeah. To actually allow change and a difference to occur.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's huge. So like, here's some of my thoughts on it. Like, thank you. I fully agree with you in all that you shared and what you stand for and your intention. And so, I see some real major world issues as well that I think it's up to us, the millennials. Like, I love our parents and I'm so grateful for them and their industrious, baby booming, capabilities.
Yeah.
And Generation X next is all great. And I don't even know, is it who came right after baby boomers? I think is it Generation Y? There's next. And then, anyways, there's us. And so we're the ones that really matter. Like, we all matter. It's true. We all matter. But my point is this, but like, here's the thing is like our parents' generation, like, they helped foster and like allow some of this like prostitution and like the scandal and like the belittling and like we were really, what I will totally give them so much credit for is like in our education system though, you probably remember this, there was like these borders up in my classroom that said like, if you fall short of the moon, you land amongst a star.
Yep.
And so we were definitely raised in an inspirational and pivotal time in the education system. That's why we were all given these idea of participation trophies. But I loved those things. Like, I think that those were great because we all are awesome. Yeah. And here's the thing is that a lot of like the older generations has what I had saw, and thankfully they're waking up to the reality. But it was almost like, oh, millennials are entitled, and there was all these different thoughts out there about the participation trophies, but like actually it was a huge benefit because I believe our generation is going to be, if not it already is, one of the largest entrepreneurial generations.
Like it has to be. It has to be because like our generation sees the system that our parents bought into that is broken AF, right? And like people losing their homes, foreclosing. Like we want freedom, we want choice, we want creation. Yeah. We don't want to be stuck in a box. We don't want to fit into somebody else's, we don't want to be a cog in the machine.
Yes. So my question is then, like, it's really important for, so like the war on drugs, the war on prostitution, like pretty much all these like black market, like illegal like industries that exist, or the trafficking, the idea that trafficking, like children and all of these things are actually occurring. And sure, like it's easier perhaps said than done than just to fix, because they're like, I have friends in the military, and one of my good friends encouraged the idea that it's what people believe about religion, and that continues to exist. And so, I am also a philosopher at heart, and I often like wonder, like, is it possible? Can it really be possible? Like, I do believe if we can dream it, we can see it, we can achieve it. And I do believe the idea that things are getting better and that we have the ability to connect it to a rapid rate. Just the fact that, like, you're in San Diego and I'm north of San Diego, and we're having this conversation. And even if I was in the UK or, anywhere in the world for that matter, that I could be having this conversation with you is literally a miracle. And here's another truth is that, like, since we've been on this theme of life, death, and the Bible, and like the meaning of life, and how to like just conquer things in the world to bring even more freedom and justice and liberty for all. Sounds like America.
America.
And so, speaking on that idea, I had a question I was going to pose, and that was and is, first off, the sunset is stunning. Well, the palm trees. But my question was, it was that, in the last days, like it talks in the Bible that actually there will be more miracles done than when Jesus was alive.
Yeah. Yep.
So maybe this whole idea that like the earth is going to end in catastrophe and destruction, like, and I'm not saying that the Bible's lying, but I think perhaps maybe we have a misinterpretation. Like maybe we actually as a generation can study more because maybe things just get better and better and better and we're just ascend.
I'm all about it. I'm all about that life. I'm all about
ascending.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Ascending to be more like Christ, like everywhere.
Yeah.
And like actually like war will end and poverty will cease. And like the tides, they'll rise, but they'll fall and they'll continue the way that, and we will be able to live in more harmony. I mean, that's the idea, is that we continue to work towards this. Now, okay, I do have one more question, and I know you're the timekeeper here.
Yes. Hold on, before you ask that question, I wanted to add to that real quick. As we ascend, we are more in alignment with nature, and because we're more in alignment with nature, we create more harmonious solutions for our evolution, for our survival and thrival and continued growth and prosperity. So no matter what happens, even if there's meteors that come or whatever, like we will create solutions that can overcome that because of our evolution, because we're tapped into solutions and possibilities as we become more enlightened. Continue.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think you said it. I mean, really, you nailed it. And yeah, it's like no matter what, no matter if prophecy cease and if all of these things happen, like in the end, like it's going to be good if we're choosing good. Like if we're choosing love and we're operating from love, then death truly has been defeated.
Yeah.
And like the war has been defeated. It was already won. So I think that my goal here in showing up on this call today with you is to first off just give you immense credit for your hard work and your dedication to what you're doing in your mission and the way that you've also touched and inspired my life, and to also just inspire others to continue to look at ways that they can be and make that difference, and and to be honest with themselves and with others, and to continue to increase in that, because that's been my greatest opportunity and continues to remain, is the reality that like we always have more room to grow, which was a part, I think I had read that was part of your message today too, right? That like
what turns you on, it's really about what turns you on, your purpose. How do you develop your platform, your purpose, your platform, your presence, all of that. Like that's growth is being turned on. Growth equals for me on. If you're alive, you're growing. If you're dying, if you're not on, you're dying. So it's like that's it's just life and death.
Or rebirthing.
Yeah, exactly. Or you're the phoenix. You're turning into the phoenix.
hey. So perhaps I totally agree. And so anyone that feels led to anything that you and I have talked about today, or that just feels, again, aligned to like that heart-centered mission and the mission and idea of love, and to love their heart out, and if they feel brave to love their heart out on a larger level, and if it's from a branding, marketing standpoint, consulting standpoint. Of course, I do coaching too, like a lot of people in this realm, but more or less, like if you just feel interested in connecting to me, like I want to hear from you. For me, I'm realizing even more that it's all about connection, and it's never been about money for me, and it hopefully will never be about money for me. But the intention it's greater than that. Yeah. And that it's all about connection.
So I love that, and I want to make one suggestion as a core member of your mastermind and your support team, and we both coach each other to be our best selves. So it's not about the money, and we still love receiving the money, and we appreciate it, and
I have no problem receiving.
Yeah, exactly. So it's about, I like to say, it's not an either or world. It's not about people or money. It's about people and money and impact and influence and growing and all of it.
It's so true. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah, it follows. It's the idea and the principle, and it's been true in my life many times over, that when you go back to the foundation, to the true connection, your true connection, it continues to flow in.
That's right. 100%. 100%. Yeah. There's so much abundance. There's so much opportunity all around us. And I know people who are tuning in, they want to know how they can continue their journey with you, Kara. So how do they stay connected? How do they have a call? How do they find you on social media? Tell them more.
So you can find me here on Facebook at Kara Alise.
Cool.
You can just message me. You can send a friend request and a message, or you can find me on the gram, because it's all about the strong gram game.
That's right.
And so you can find me in my company at heartprint.agency. You can also, I currently have my personal account private.
Okay.
I've been flirting around with the idea of being more private. And so, but you can find me on my personal account at Alise Lucas, where you can get my book. It's actually only $9.99 if you choose to buy it, or if it's free if you already have Kindle. But I would prefer that you pay me than Bezos, But hey, you can pay him if you prefer. So, anyhow, you can leave me a review on my book called Love Your Heart Out. But more or less, if you just feel a connection or are interested in getting to know me better and to growing together, collaborating, then just reach out to me on Facebook. Again, at Kara Alise, or by Instagram at heartprint.agency. Boom.
I love it. Kara, you are an amazing woman, and this is like just the beginning of who you are being and becoming, and the foundation that you have is so powerful with Jesus, with your faith, with the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the type of caliber of people that you're surrounding yourself with, because I know you're super close to me, and I think that's if I do say so myself, that's a wise decision.
Hey, thank you. Likewise. Hey, I love it. I love the mirror, Chris. Yes.
Yeah, and you have like global impact in your cards, girl. So keep showing up, keep taking the steps, keep loving, keep riding the wave of inspiration, following your curiosity, your passion, your possibilities, because that's really what's going to lead you to your greatness, your heart, your big, big heart. So keep it up, okay?
Thank you. You too, my friend.
Welcome. You're welcome. Everyone stay connected with Kara. She's super duper awesome. And Kara, we will see you very soon, okay?
Sounds great. Have a great evening, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye.
Take care.